Hey everyone, it's Jess. I have a seer. I'm here with a new video for you all about shamanic death. I think there's a grave importance right now, more than ever, to speak about this topic. I myself have experienced it multiple times. Another reason why I need to express it. So some of you may have watched my transmission videos, which are a collection of the energy that's coming into the planet. Situations that we have to pay attention to, or even energies pay attention to, because if you don't, it might cause a delay, a problem, or whatnot. Okay, so that's one series of videos I do. I do them live and pre-recorded. Lately, more pre-recorded. And I also started doing my series of unspoken prophecies. Now what this is I will receive things as a seer about traumatic instances, whether that be for the collective or an individual person. It's very difficult for me to speak about these until I'm definitely sure that this is what's going on, because I don't like to create panic or hysteria. So I have uploaded one so far, and that is about a Gaia crisis that I was channeling into, and received even more messages through table tipping, which is a form of physical mediumship. But you can view that on the page that is available as well as the transmission videos. So if you'd like and feel called, please feel free to watch those. Now this video is a little different. I'm gonna have different videos within the middle of those transmission and spoken prophecies and such, detailing things I experience as a healer, things I work through as a shaman, things that I have to speak about more than to clients, more than to close people, to help them understand it. So here I am, speaking about shamanic death, what it is and its importance. Don't be scared, you're not going to die. I mean, you will, your ego will, but you'll physically be able to be here. But the importance is getting out of that shamanic death, understanding you're in a shamanic death. So I guess I'll start this video. My guides were very, very, very persistent about this. I myself have been experiencing another shamanic death, and this is why I need to express it. A lot of the times, some of you may know as healers that we experience a lot of the collective energy through our own lives. You may not notice that, but it does happen. You may pay attention to that now. But basically, I would like to express the importance of shamanic death. Now, what is a shamanic death? Many of you may be like, oh my God, what is she talking about? I have no idea what she's talking about. Some of you may be like, oh yeah, I've been through a few of those. Let's talk about it. So a shamanic death, this is when you go through an experience in your lifetime that is literally breaking down layers of self, layers of your ego, layers of your physical self, and fully transforming and changing you into but the new you that's needed to move forward. Okay? A lot of the times on this planet, there are humans that do not embrace the aspect of shamanic death and experience it as such. They almost look at it as, why me? This keeps happening. Almost the most negative form of, this will always be my life, and just submitting to it. That's not healthy as well. So, what can cause a shamanic death? A terrible accident, a death of a loved one, someone very close to you. Very, very hard living situations. Everyone is different. I had a severe accident over 11 years ago that left me, luckily not physically dead, but it left me incapacitated for a couple of years, and it left me on a path that wasn't good. And getting out of that, realizing that was one of my first shamanic deaths. Not my first, but the first noticed one. Really sent me on a trajectory. So again, any kind of traumatic instance that could happen to you, whether that be abuse, something out of your control, or it could be actions that you've chose to lead yourself through that you're realizing were damaging you inside and out. Any of that. Shamanic deaths can be induced by all of that. The point of this is to induce change, to induce the change in your physical being and in your auric field. We need that change to happen so we can move forward, so we can ascend, so we can vibrate at a higher level and get out of the negativity, get out of that lower vibrational field, the trauma, the hurt, the pain. I believe that we live on earth, and yes, earth is hell that we are experiencing. Yes, I believe that. I believe that we are experiencing all the emotions that we would so-called believe in hell here. And it's how we navigate them and how we experience them and how we move forward through them is living. Okay? Some of you may relate to that. I don't know. That's how I kind of feel about that. So again, staying on topic, shamanic deaths, they're very important. If you're holding on to baggage, you're not going to be able to move forward. If you have a weight on your ankle, you're not moving forward. If you have a second set of skin or coat, something that's holding you and acting as if it is yourself, old emotions, thought processes, lingering with on your body, it's heavy. It doesn't help you move forward. It doesn't help you move into a different light of your being. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day about, they were like, oh, you don't look young enough to have a kid that old. Well, no, I don't. But because I've worked in ways to shed certain aspects of self to move forward and change my being, if that makes sense. It almost made me more youthful. I feel if I didn't break away these parts of ego, if I actually like submitted to them and accepted them as me, then I probably would look a lot older. Because if you even understood half the traumatic instances, half the shamanic deaths I went through, you'd be optimistic as well, because I'm here. You know, I had that I literally, what got me out of that first shamanic death, I had a very, very, very bad head injury, and a couple of years, you know, they had me on medications. They had me on painkillers. I was going to pain centers and clinics and PT and all this stuff. 1 to 10 in my spine. I couldn't even move my neck past my shoulder. Couldn't even drive it. It was horrible. I saw my own death. I saw my own death in a dream and in waking state. Saw it. Scared the fuck out of me. I changed my life. I didn't take help from anyone. I did it myself. And I came from the dirt out of that. Years later, was in a whole nother story. Something so abusively tragic that almost brought me back into what caused the first shamanic death. But what it did is it made me stronger. It made me understand the power within me. So every time you have these shamanic deaths, these traumatic instances, situations that you're stuck in, that the only way out is for you to get out yourself. That's a shamanic death. Something that you can't take anymore, that you feel like you're going to die inside if you don't move forward, if you don't change something, if you don't get rid of something. You know, it took me like 4 years to get out of that, to grow, to rebirth, to experience. And, you know, that shamanic death taught me a lot. And I'll tell you right now, I thought I was in the clear. And this is my importance about this right now. Take this how you may, relate to it how you may. Shamanic deaths are necessary when you're in a pivotal point in your life where you're just either going to go further or you're going to skyrocket if you make that choice to make something better. To change, to not stay the same, to not repeat cycles that are built within your lineage line that you are seriously replaying. I want to stress that as well, that sometimes our shamanic deaths are brought on by ancestral karma lines that are almost causing us to experience this trauma to say, no more. It's not going to carry on anymore. This is what's important here. Acknowledging the shamanic death, the trauma that needs to just be released. You know it's there. You say you're healing from it, or you're being a victim to it. Which one is it? It doesn't matter. because the point is to change that thought process, to release that, throw it in the garbage, ask the angels to transmute it. Whatever you feel connected to, get a healing. But acknowledgement is one of the first steps. Acknowledging that there's an issue, acknowledging that there needs to be a change, because nothing's going to change if you don't change it. And a shamanic death is awakening that experience within you. It's helping you understand that it's the death of self for a reason. You walk out of that situation that is causing you pain, that is not allowing you to live in your truth. You have to break it away. You're going to come to a pass. With the shamanic death, you will come to a pass. And you can make a decision to stay in it and fall victim, or to rise above it and empower yourself. I hope you choose empower yourself. So, basic points to this video is shamanic deaths are very common. Shamanic deaths are not scary. They can be painful. They can kind of cause you thoughts of regret depending on where you are. It could cause you some pain. It'll cause you more mental anguish holding on to that, though. I think that when you're not acknowledging the shamanic death aspect of that, this needs to get rid of whatever that may be, the situation, the person, the feeling, the thought, whatever it is for you, it needs to be gone and released. And taking it one day at a time and forgiving yourself is the most important. Forgiving yourself is the first step. It helps you understand that this is a learning process. When you realize and set those boundaries after your experience and understanding that that trauma doesn't serve you, it doesn't do anything beneficial for your life, that it's probably not even connected to you and it's been lingering within your ancestral line, it should empower you even more to release that. To say, this does not belong to me. I'm changing this. You will also be met, for those a little more advanced that I'm experiencing, who have had other if this isn't your first shamanic death, if this isn't your first experience with it or want to understand it, and you know what that is. You know it's the breaking down of the ego. It's allowing you to move forward. It helps you spiritually grow. If you've been there, you understand that. Understand there's more. So I experienced another one. For self-acknowledged shamanic deaths, this is my third. I think I've been through at least 5. For sure. For sure. It's just the first 2 didn't take, if that makes sense. It's almost like we will repeat that situation or scenario in different parts of our life, even with different people, until we understand it. We all know that as life lessons that we try and, clear karma, such. But it's those repetitive moments, and even seeing it from family members that you're repeating that in that breakaway and actually moving away from it and changing it, that's the shamanic death. And now you're reborn into a new you. And it's okay if you don't know who that new you is. You'll find out. But the more experience, those who have experienced it and gone through it, I feel like we go through them more. Almost as tests for ourselves. I was just recently met with an impasse and a choice. Choose myself or choose something that wasn't myself. And I chose myself. And I'll tell you, that shamanic death, I'm still releasing it. I'm doing a lot better though. And that's all that matters. Shamanic deaths are needed to break away the parts of the ego that are holding you back. The best way to do this, to allow it to happen, is to acknowledge it, to acknowledge the change that needs to happen in your life and actually act on it. Put action to the acknowledgement. That is the best advice I can give you at this time. They're important. Experience it and let the releasing happen. Cry, scream, do what you got to do. It's okay. Write it down. Do what you have to do. But the most important thing is put action behind it so you do not stay in that trauma. Shamanic death is needed to release trauma. Be aware of it and allow it to release, or else it'll solidify until the next cycle comes for you to break it. Don't wait that long. If you're feeling that there's something like that in your life right now, please, by all means, write an intention, an affirmation helping you out of it. I know with the second shamanic death I went through, this one journal is filled with everything I hated about myself during that period and everything I wanted myself to be. And I will tell you that it all worked. It all happened. It all came true. And it eventually got there. It may have taken a little longer. It may have taken me time to understand how to get there. But I did. Because I had faith in myself. And I knew that whatever was going to happen next was way better than where I came from. So please, if there is something, if you are watching this right now, I'm going to say this because at this time we're in right now, the mental illness is at a rise, and it's going to cause people that aren't awakened to pull down people that are awakened. If you may be in a relationship, I will stress that now. My second shamanic death was leaving a very horrific, abusive relationship. This last one was me met with something that could have turned into that, even though the person was entirely different. But I understood because I remembered and experienced what I had to release in the last shamanic death. I experienced it. I understood that pain, and I knew I never wanted to feel that again, and it wasn't a part of me. So therefore, you don't allow it. You can't allow it to happen again. Regardless of the situations, regardless of how good or how well you may think you can handle it. When you feel it, release it. And don't feel bad. Because that death of your ego needed to happen. Because that was your ego talking. So yeah, put up boundaries. Understand when things are not healthy for you. When things, people, job, home, situations. I'm stressing to women in abusive relationship. Find a way out before it's too late. No, that's not what I was just in, but I was years ago, and I know the signs because of being in that. And it could have very well not have ended up that way, but for my own comfortableness, for my own peace of mind and my purpose, I couldn't take that chance. So the importance of shamanic death is understanding the trauma that will always forever hold you back. If you move forward and you're met with that trauma again, or the possibility of that trauma, you have to understand the discernment needed not to allow that back in your life. But that is only going to happen when you embrace the aspects of shamanic death and realize those parts that don't serve you and release them. I hope you all can understand this message, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me. ihaveaseercreations.com. You can find all of my product services. You can hit me up at I Have a Seer on Facebook, Instagram, or whatnot, or right here on YouTube. I hope you all have a wonderful evening and embrace that shift, because we're in a hella paradigm shift right now. And I wish you all luck and blessings and peace and love. Mwah. Have a great night. Bye.